After splitting the Seoul Series with the Dodgers, it's time for the San Diego home opener. And we're going to talk about it all on this episode of Padres Talking Padres. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Padres Talking Padres. My name is Jay, and with me are my two fellow Padres fans and Padres in real life. We got Jack and Jerry. Gentlemen, how are you doing on this fine evening?
Hey, I still hear music.
Okay, there we go. Now I turn it down.
Best produced podcast ever. I will say this, though. Say this. Your thumbnail is your best thumbnail in probably the history of any podcast or anything you've done.
Look at that.
In thumbnails. That is outstanding.
Let's just soak it in.
And you got smiling Bob Melvin.
Cheerful as ever.
Like,
this is Bob Melvin. Put the picture back up.
Sure. I'll put it back up. Yeah.
All right. This is Bob Melvin happy. Oh, wait. That's Bob Melvin sad. Oh, that's Bob Melvin laughing. That's Bob Melvin having sex. That's just Bob Melvin. That's I don't change my expressions.
I like him, but also screw him. I just kind of feel like the whole Giants thing of just like, well, even when I was with the Padres and I look over in that dugout and I kind of imagine myself coaching on that, like, stop.
He liked those orange sickle uniforms they have. They're
the connects.
Those are probably the worst.
Yeah, it's also apparent that the Padres felt the same way about Melvin.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really like a manager, you're going to let him go to another division foe.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were more than happy to say, yeah, go ahead, go someplace else.
Yeah. I like Gabe Kapler. I know Giant fans didn't, but I didn't see anything wrong with him. He did with what he he won the division 1 year and next couple of years he didn't have the talent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not so sure that also wasn't the clubhouse, though, from what I understand.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. To me, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to understand or get a sense of dynamics in a clubhouse, but whatever. He's over there.
The clubhouse didn't seem to be a problem back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. All of a sudden, hey, we got free agency. There's a problem with the clubhouse.
It's a delicate balance, and clearly, even Bob Melvin has admitted he wasn't up to the challenge.
It is tough, but I think the toughest thing is the managers are making less than the players.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it last week, guys. The other thing is what kind of a manager, what kind of a team are you trying to get managed here? Is it more of a younger team or is it more experienced team? And I think there's managers that are good for both, but not necessarily both. So.
I loved there, Jerry, last week because I do think that's 100% relevant.
Need to bring back Dick Williams.
maybe.
I tell you what, you got Schultz. I mean, the bottom line is we talked about it last week. The guy seems to be in tune with what a clubhouse needs to be. Went out and talked to all the players in the offseason, went and visited them at home. What's your feelings? What do you need? What can you do for the club? That's a good start.
And I don't know. Was this? I can't remember now. It's been a week. That's a lifetime sometimes. But was the news that Soto wasn't going to take the Mexico trip? Did we talk about that last time?
No, we did not.
No.
So I wonder, can we say now, like, is that confirmation that Soto was also a deterrent to the clubhouse?
There were other Yankees that didn't go though, right?
Okay, I didn't know. Just it seemed like a bad look.
I mean, I've heard that a couple other Yankees didn't go, but to me, it's a new team.
Yeah,
you got to go. I mean, you got to.
Hey, look at Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease gets traded to the Padres. They've already left on the plane to go to Seoul, Korea, and he could easily not offended anybody by saying, "Hey, I'll wait till you get back." But he goes and gets his passport. Flies all the way out there, pitches a couple innings in an exhibition game. I mean, this is a veteran guy.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do that.
No.
Well, they're making a big deal about him and Tatis being like buddies. I started thinking, I go, well, maybe they played together in the minors in Chicago.
That could be. That could be.
I said he was, that's where we got Fernando for
that's true.
Shields.
For a bag of beans. Yeah.
Yeah. But but I was saying I'm sure they probably have knew each other before.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm always surprised how much a lot of these guys know each other. Because you think about it, you go through rookie ball, double A, and teams, switches, and even if you're playing them on the other side, I mean, look at Freddie Freeman and his kids' love for Tatis. It's like, when did they cross paths? Never. Yeah. But
I think because his kid was a big Tatis fan, and I think
if we didn't have Hosmer, we probably would have had Freeman on.
I know we would have. I will say, there's also,
thanks, Hosmer.
There's also like they played travel ball together. Like you look at that situation from a couple years back when Blake Snell accidentally hit Bryce Harper in the hand.
Oh yeah.
And like Bryce Harper and Blake Snell have known each other since they were 10 years old because they played travel ball and, together.
Well, Blake Snell broke his arm when he was 10.
It was vengeance. But no, I think it was an interesting series, the Seoul Series. Game 1, I got up at what was it? Well, only 6 a.m. my time, so not as bad as it would be for you.
Yeah, cry me a river. Yeah.
But what a waste of waking up early that game was. I was miserable, absolutely miserable for the rest of that day. What was your take on game 1 of the Seoul Series, the glove gate?
I mean, what else is there to say? I will firmly believe that game was lost because of the glove. That's a double play ball.
That's a
double play ball.
That's an easy double play ball.
Yeah. And I mean, just freak, just a freak.
Well, it didn't help. The Padres only had 4 hits, and the pitchers walked 9.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not a matter. It's not a matter of that they deserve to win. To your point, but they were winning, and it was 2-1.
I'm going with the theory that a certain interpreter cut the glove.
he had the over or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Am I getting an echo here?
Hey, give credit to Dave. Even Dave Roberts said that he felt bad for Crow, but hey, we took advantage of it.
You have to. Yeah.
So. But yeah, heartbreaker. I was in traveling, and so I woke up just in time to see them.
Oh.
I woke up about in the 2nd inning, and then I had to go. I was driving back and forth, and
I got up early. I watched the first few innings, and I was actually playing pickleball that morning. So I went and played the games, and then when I looked at my phone, I just got the notification from like Bleacher Report, like Dodgers take lead on crazy, fluke play. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I was watching the game, but I was feeding grandkids at the same time, and I saw the ground. I go, how the hell did Cronenworth miss that?
Yeah, it didn't make sense logically.
No. And then it wasn't until later on I go, oh, it literally went through his glove.
Yeah.
I'm echoing.
Yeah, you're echoing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think the bigger point of that game, as freak as the play that was, is Jack mentioned earlier, they only had 4 hits and they walked 9. You hope to pull out a few of those games during the year, but you can't play like that and expect to win, even if you were up 2-1. Gave them way too many opportunities.
Yeah. That fixed the echo. I think I should be good now. Let's go ahead and talk.
Okay.
Oh, you're not on the right mic. You gotta switch mics. By the way, I think you picked the wrong. Yeah. No, it was almost like the classic Padres game. Like it was just so frustrating on so many levels. It would have been better like to be blown out or something. It was just such a Padres way to lose, and in a way we usually lose against the Dodgers in the regular season. So it
was a San Diego team way they lose the game. It's a San Diego loss.
Yeah. But so that's game 1. But game 2, what a night and day difference. Absolutely love that game. That was great to watch.
It was stressful.
Happy
I'm not
with
gonna lie.
happy with the result, but was not happy when you're leading 9-1 and they got within a run.
Yeah. Well, there was something in the air, just like all the pitchers, like no one could get anybody out.
Yeah. But after last year's debacle with 1-run games and extra innings, I think it was an important win.
Yeah.
Again, we said last week this is not do or die for the season.
Yeah.
But a split's a lot better than coming back with your tail between your legs after a glove gate and then blow an 8-run lead. I don't care if it was
that would have been a bummer. I mean, that would have been tough to swallow when you're up by so much and you lose.
Yeah.
Especially to the Dodgers.
Yeah. And because we had that last season where we had that one game where we were up like 10-0, but then the Dodgers found out Seth Lugo's pitches, and then we're just like teeing him like it was hitting off a tee
because they cheat.
Well, yeah, the Dodgers cheat all the time, but anyway, it was a ton of fun. Like, it was just a good day to be a Padre fan because like even just the media that whole day, since it was the only baseball game. And just kind of keeping an eye on like MLB, the MLB network or ESPN, whatever. Like so much the commentary shit to like, hey, maybe the Padres are going to be okay. Like they seem to be playing well. They, all this kind of stuff.
And Manny, that was a clutch 3-run homer.
God,
and it was like, it's no doubt.
Well, I mean, you throw an 88-mile-per-hour pitch center cut, hopefully you don't let that pass by. But
I honestly, as big as Manny's home run was, I thought the story of the series, as far as importance for the season, was Jake Cronenworth. Jake Cronenworth, getting that many hits. Clutch RBIs, big RBIs. He's the missing piece. I really believe that he needs to have a big year, especially where it looks like they're going to hit him strategically with between all those right-handers.
Well, he's sandwiched in between Tatis and Machado.
Right.
There's no excuses this season.
But and again, all the sports commentators but he's not trying to jack it, the Crone zone. He's just spraying it and hitting it where it's pitched, and that's what he needs to do. Like we were talking about.
That's the worst thing that happened to him was Don going the Crone zone, which is exciting.
It's fun.
But I think that, and moving to first base, I think last year I said last week he thought he had to be the power guy.
Yeah.
He's just not that guy.
No.
He's going to hit that. 15, 20 homers, but just drive the ball.
Yeah, we always got to give it a reason. I always hate the word excuse, but we always have to give a reason. When a guy's learning a new position, your focus is divided. You're not playing your natural position, and we sit there and say, oh, the scope of 160 games, you should get comfortable. Look, I only got the softball. But one year I went from shortstop to outfield, and it took me quite a while to kind of get used to the ball off of the bat. And, it can be concerning. And look, last year was last year. Bottom line is, I think everybody started pressing, and I think that was the big thing. The second game
because they were struggling.
Yeah. Well,
and Bo Mel didn't have answers. Like nobody. Like I don't know if you read. Was it before the celebration of life? But it was I think it was in June. Peter Seidler was like, screw it. He took like some sage and they kind of burned sage around the diamond or whatever, just to try and like ward out the bad spirits or whatever. They were trying everything just to make things work.
Last year was a frustrating, probably one of the more frustrating seasons as a Padre fan. I mean, like I said, Jerry and I have probably been since '69, so from day one, and it was a frustrate because you expected so much, and I think the players felt it too. Yeah, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't get it going. I mean, Manny was hurt. It just didn't work out.
Well, expectations can be a burden. I mean, especially if you're not used to it. If you're I mean, everybody was all but writing them into the World Series, and sometimes it's difficult to live up to those kind of expectations.
I expected at least the playoffs.
And I agree.
Playoffs.
But what I loved about that day, and I know this is probably petty and whatever, but so you had that day, we crushed the Dodgers, I guess the most points we've ever, or runs we've ever scored against them. But then you had the whole Ohtani scandal break the same day, and you had their $350 million pitcher absolutely suck.
I think that's a bigger concern than Ohtani right now, because his like I said last week, his fastball is straight.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's going 97 miles an hour if it's straight.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an interesting story to develop, that's for sure, because he had a lousy spring on top of it. His ERA was over 9 in the spring training, and now you add in the factor that it's 35 or 40 now. I know the season's early, and look, we talked about it last week. You can't make too much of the first game, second game. Got to give it at least a month or two before you can start at least circling like, oh, there's a problem.
Yeah,
there's a problem. There's a good thing, but that's their second guy.
Yeah,
he got torched. And quite honestly, I thought
he's been moved down to third.
Padres did good against Glasgow. He went 4 innings, but they gave him a couple of runs.
Yeah.
So the bullpen beat us more in that game than anybody.
Yeah.
So
And
but you turn it on the other side, though, we're having some pitching issues too. Did not end up well with our last 2 exhibition games. Our pitching was not that great.
No, that's
Seoul
an exhibition
Series
game.
Well,
you're right. King gave up some homers today. I was watching the beginning of that game today. Yeah.
I was watching off and on the game yesterday with Cease, and I said, I go, look, does he always throw so many breaking pitches? And then I found out he's learning a new pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
So that explains
training, right?
Yeah, I mean, training. It's what is all right. I don't put too much stock in this. The guy that scares me the most is Woo-Suk Go.
Yeah, Woo-Suk Go not doing so great.
Yeah, he's pretty much sucked.
But he will. He's learning. He's going to be in the minors.
It took Kim a while.
It did
to get it going. So I'm not panicking over him. And we have other guys, but again, pitching. You never know with spring training. You never know how pitching's going to. Because Musgrove has looked. I mean, Musgrove, his pitches were just right over the heart of the plate.
Yeah,
against the Dodgers.
Yeah, and you always get the feeling with spring training. At least I do. I always just think, they're just out there to log pitches.
Yeah,
they really are. They're just trying to get their 75 pitches under their belts.
Yeah,
season starts, they can actually go
building up that arm
7 innings. And
Blake Snell 5.
Do you really want to show all your best stuff to
exactly
other teams, because you're going to play them all? That's the thing about spring training. Used to be spring training. The American League teams, you won't see them ever. Unless you went to the World Series.
Yeah.
Now you
which I like, by the way.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know. Just it was an enjoyable day to be a Padre fan.
Sure.
Let's talk about the Ohtani thing. How do we not talk about it? I shared this tweet to our group chat. But, Ohtani watching Yamamoto get rocked, but remembering who took the Padres.
That's one of the best memes out there for sports. It's like, what's going through his mind? I mean, it's just perfect timing with the camera. But...
the line I like the best is when it first came out, and it was something along the lines as either Ohtani's guilty or he is the worst dimwit with money that this world has ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's like, how do you not see $4.5 million, him or his financial advisor, disappear? How did you not see that?
That's the key.
He's got a lot of money, but $4.5 million is not taking a couple $100 bills.
The key is the financial advisor.
Yeah.
Again, people, Dodger fans, are saying, "Well, it happens all the time." They're naming all these players. I go, first, if I'm rich, nobody's going to have final say of where my money's going.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just no way. There's just no way.
But that's you, and there are plenty of players that don't watch this stuff. But this is where I call BS. Is he is so meticulous about everything that he we didn't know he was married until like 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Dodgers
And
didn't know.
how particular he was about the free agency. Like they were worried when Dave Roberts slipped that they met with him. Like, oh, he's not going to go with you now. Like it was so like he seems so meticulous about everything in his life that it just doesn't make sense that he wouldn't know that $4.5 million was missing from his account.
There's a lot of holes in the story. Like originally, it came out that the what's it, Ippy? What's his name?
Ippy, yeah,
Ippy. That he said that all right, Ohtani, he paid the debt for me, and everyone was cool with that. And the lawyer said, no, that's illegal.
Yeah,
you can't say that.
Yeah.
And then you had Ohtani. Then now they're saying Ohtani learned it. Ippy, I guess, addressed the Dodger clubhouse. I don't know why he had to address the whole clubhouse and not just Ohtani, because Ohtani is like saying he didn't understand what he was saying.
And then Mike
but
Trout
Ohtani speaks English.
Yes,
he understands.
Mike Trout says
English.
Ohtani speaks English.
There's videos out there. I mean, come on. The problem is what they're setting it up here for. If it comes out that it's always the lie, it's always the cover up.
Yeah.
You go back to Nixon, you young kids playing at home. It wasn't the crime; it was the cover up that did them. And it happens all the time. Like if Pete Rose would have came out and said, "All right, yeah, I did it," he probably would have been suspended, but it probably would have been somewhere down the line. He probably still would have made the Hall of Fame. But he was such a dick about it. And you had Ryan Braun, who blamed the guy who drew the blood.
Yeah,
and it turned out, I did it.
Yeah,
it's the lie and cover up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did it or not. But to me, there's a lot of questions out there. Again, someone who's making $300,000 is not going to get a line of credit from a bookie for that amount.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
they're not in the business to lose money.
Well, the MLB is investigating it. The FBI is investigating it. So,
the truth will come out.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, I'm not a Dodger fan, but I know Ohtani is good for the game.
Absolutely.
I mean, when Ohtani goes to Pittsburgh, the Dodgers go to Pittsburgh, they're going to get more fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If he goes to Oakland, they're going to instead of getting 3,000, they're going to get 5,000 fans.
Yeah. No,
so
but now the Dodgers are in a precarious situation where they have over $1 billion on the line in two players that might not, pan out for them.
Well, I think
their infield is trash.
Yeah, it did come out if Ohtani was. I mean, I'm sure they could void the contract.
Yeah, sure. I don't think the Dodgers are worried about that more than they would be worried about a suspension or because like Jack said, they're going to get the money back. I just, and I know this is a Padres segment, but you can't help but talk about the rivals. But this is the Dodgers, for as great of an organization as they are, they've now had about 4 or 5 years of, Trevor Bauer, Urias, now Ohtani.
Yeah,
this is just a bad look. And look, I work for a big company. And it's easy to blame the higher ups for letting this happen and all that. But I used to say, it's like, don't blame my management team because somebody acted out. But having said that, that's what most people are going to say. It's like, the Dodger organization, and this is now three different cases over 5 years, and that's just not a good look.
I mean, he's out of the game. I mean,
he's done,
and nobody even. I mean, he's a great pitcher, but he's a powder keg, and he's. It's obviously not the first time he's been accused of what he did, and there's film of what he did.
Yeah.
So, again, you're right, Jerry. I mean, it's a bad look for the Dodgers when you keep, doing so. And I get with Ohtani because, again, like Jay said, he's so private, and then all this stuff came out. I mean, how do you do your how do you vet someone that is so private? Plus, you're like, okay, we get Ohtani, we get the whole Japanese market, we get, worldwide, we're going to make billions off Ohtani.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned because I think that, as Jay said, they got the legal people, the real legal people on it, not just the Dodgers doing it in-house or MLB doing an in-house. But there's a lot of people out there that are always saying, oh, well, if this is the Dodgers, so if it's the Dodgers, then nothing will happen to their star player. I disagree.
Well, it's the FBI doesn't give a crap about MLB, so the FBI will.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's actually the best thing. And, we'll see.
Well, his electronic signature is on the transfer.
Yeah. Well, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But that's
go Padres.
Let's talk about the Padres. We got a big opening series coming up. I wish I was in San Diego on Thursday, because what a 1-2 punch on Thursday. If you go to the ball game, I think it's a 1-something start time in San Diego. And then after the game, everyone can do a fan watch of the SDSU versus UConn. What a day for San Diego sports. A really exciting.
That's what I love about the Padres, because they embrace all the other teams. I mean, there was a team here, there was a team in San Diego that's no longer there that didn't. They didn't really embrace themselves to the city, and suddenly they're gone because nobody wanted to give them money to build a stadium. The Padres are smart. They make San Diego's their home. Yeah. And it's a San Diego team. Yeah. So they embrace the city of San Diego, and that's just smart.
Well, it's also driven from the top. That was one of the things that was mentioned in a lot of the eulogies.
Yeah.
About Peter Seidler and how much he loved the city of San Diego, and a lot of the ball players even said that Seidler would tell them it's like baseball's second. First responsibilities to the community of San Diego.
And it should.
It's great. And I. Don't get me wrong. I love all the community stuff, and I think it's great the way the Padres reach out. The first city in the United States, of Major League Baseball to recognize the military on a regular basis.
Yeah, right.
A lot of good things, but a lot of organizations do that. But you still got to find the blend to play some good baseball too.
Yes.
My hope is they all follow through on, hey, we're going to win one for Peter.
Yeah. And
me too, because I'm not getting any younger.
Well,
I don't want to make it all about me, but
we have this Dodger series. Are we a little shocked on the order? Because I thought it would be cool if Musgrove was the opener, or is Musgrove still working on things? So we got Darvish, Musgrove, Cease, and then King, I believe, are the 1, 2, 3, 4s.
Yeah. Schilt made no bones about it. He was kind of like, "Why are you guys talking about this? Has always been going to be the order." He really was matter of fact about it and said, I don't know where people are thinking I'm going to, mess up the order now. This is the way it's been designed since spring training started.
I like a manager that's in charge.
Yes.
And he doesn't shy away from the questions. It's just, what? You stupid. I mean, he didn't say that, but it's just like, you write your little article. I'll manage.
Go ahead, AC. Go ahead and write your little articles. But I mean, this is a big series. I mean, it's just like baseball is a long season, all that. But just given that you are facing Bo Mel, who left us to go there, and they beat us out for I'm blanking on his name now, the Korean player, the center fielder,
Jung Lee.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And now have Blake Snell. And kind of had themselves a pretty decent offseason for the Giants, who
they did sign Soler.
Yes, Soler and Chapman. And
they had a good offseason, yes.
They did. So,
and I'm not angry with Snell. I mean, I don't.
No, not at all. I love
Snell. Is he pitching in the series?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think he's ready yet. You know what? I just got the update. The Athletics sent out the update, and right now, the Padres are picked to come in fourth because of the Montgomery signing for the Diamondbacks. So this is just a tough division, man.
They were picked first last year,
and I think the one thing to point out is I've always been in favor of it's nice to have a couple of road or a couple of home games at the beginning of the year, but the Padres are home a lot in the first month.
Yeah,
I mean a lot. So you're almost kind of forced to say, hey, we got to get off to a good start because we're using up a lot of home games in the front end.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. We have our first comment here. Please, if you want to comment live, we have 6 people watching right now live. So Oz says, nice setup, Jerry. There you go. People are enjoying your setup.
Nice.
But no, I agree with the home games. This is a division rival. It would be nice to kind of set a statement. It's a 4-game series or 3-game series?
4 games.
4 games. So it's
Thursday,
like
Friday,
you have to at least split, but ideally win 3 out of 4.
Well, I'll put a little rain check on that because San Diego is expecting a ton of rain over the weekend. We
really?
may not
What
get.
is the
We
deal?
may not
What's
get.
going on over there?
I don't know, man, but yeah, we may not get Saturday, Sunday.
Get some umbrellas, man.
Yeah, we're getting
Dome that stadium up.
Well, it's the old trivia question. Since San Diego Padres have been existing, how many rain?
4?
They had 3.
3? Okay.
3.
I know. It's funny because they had one last season, right?
Yeah.
I was at the one before that. I think,
Okay.
at Qualcomm because they kept delaying it. And finally I said, as I was working at Sony like 11:30 at night, I go, Christ, I got to get going here. I go, because
What's that Charlie Brown character that's got the dark cloud following him around?
That is me. I know Flintstones, it's Schlep Rock, but
but yeah, so that'll be a bummer if they get rained out. But what do you think? What do you think our chances are of splitting the series, or do we win 3 out of 4? Like, what are y'all thinking of this matchup and how things may play out this weekend?
The team is locked in.
It's just always a tough call. Giants are just got a really good offense, and they got Webb, starting the first game, the second.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Is he last year? You play division rivals. You always hope to go 3-1, but going 2-2 is not going to hurt you. You just can't afford to go out there and get bombed.
Yeah.
Well, you want to. I guess the rule of thumb is you want to split with your division.
Sure.
And beat up other than Colorado.
Well, this particular division, I agree. Yes, because again, there are 4 extremely strong teams in it, and even though Colorado looks like they're going to be lousy, you still got to go to Colorado and play, and that's for any club. That's sometimes a coin flip.
Even when they stink, they win at home. Even when they stink, they win.
Well, it's a drain on your bullpen too because the field's so big and the home runs and stuff. But my dad used to say about the Yankees, he said when the Yankees were in the 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, what they did is they just beat up on the bad teams. The St. Louis Browns, all the bad teams, they just crushed.
Yeah.
And they went about 500 with their own division.
Yeah.
The Red Sox and so on. But yeah, I think you just the best case scenario, 3 out of 4. But if you could split, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to see some consistency against good pitchers.
Yes.
Same kind of analogy as Jack was just saying about clubs. When you get down to the 4th and 5th pitcher, you expect to get some more runs and everything. But one thing that gave the Padres some problems last year, and it's not unusual for any club that's 500. They just couldn't score any runs against the big guys.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to win those games.
Yeah.
And supposedly you're matching your best guy against their best guy, your second guy against their second guy, at least at the start of the season.
Yeah.
So they got to find a way to get some runs on the board. Last year the whole expectation was because Snell hadn't had a great of a year.
Yeah.
Musgrove was still kind of like getting to be the Musgrove we hope he ends up being.
And both Snell and Musgrove struggled at the beginning of last season.
Exactly. But the thought was, and I'm one of them, was that we're just going to score so many runs it won't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
You go back to last week, and I was talking about the Dodgers. I think they're going to be in the same boat as the Padres because I don't know why, but they're getting a pass on their pitching staff, and I'm thinking
their pitching is weak.
It's
for the Dodgers.
It's suspect.
Yeah.
It's not that if every one of those guys is healthy and pitching like their best year, well, geez, who couldn't say that about any pitching staff?
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
So if we got the 2 years ago Darvish and the year before Musgrove, and Cy Young out of season, we look great.
Absolutely.
So,
and another thing with the Dodgers too is
consistency against good pitching.
If they lose Ohtani, I mean, I know it's hypothetical, but they can't replace him.
No.
I mean, Dodgers are really good about next man up, but you can't replace someone like Ohtani. That's
they're kind of struggling with the next man up too, because Gavin Lux was supposed to be the shortstop of the future, and he hasn't done that. And
I say just hit it to Muncy.
Right, that's a strategy. Hit it to Muncy.
Just pull it to Muncy, and
but everyone's saying they're winning 100 something games. I think I don't know. They're
again, like Jerry keeps saying, the National League West from
all four of the top four are. You could rearrange the order.
Either one of those teams, depending on health, could win the division.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget the Dodgers won 100 some games without Ohtani last year.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Other than that, they haven't.
But
made
they had. I guess
changes.
they didn't have Trey Turner last year, did they? No, they didn't. Never mind.
They did. Yeah.
No, they didn't have him last year. They didn't have him.
Not last year. You're right. The year before.
Yeah. But how'd they do in the playoffs?
Not so good. But again, they didn't have the pitching. 90s, They didn't have the pitching. No. And their bats go quiet in the playoffs because they can't cheat like they usually during the regular season. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Cheating Dodgers.
So Giants series, we're doing the show on Tuesday night, so we'll know how that went and if we got all of the games the next time we do this show. Speaking of the stadium and being a part of the community, the Gallagher Square renovations look awesome. Like it looks really nice.
And it wasn't. They kept saying it wasn't going to be ready for the regular season.
Well,
they got it done.
I took my grandson on the Petco tour, the Petco Stadium tour.
Yeah,
and that was a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked out in the outfield, I even asked the guide, I was like, so what's going on? I mean, that looks like that's not even remotely close to being ready. And he says, well, they said they're going to have it all done by the time the Padres open. But yeah, if you would have seen my view of it, it doesn't look like it was going to happen.
Like you said, you've had a lot of rain out there, so that you can't do construction during.
Well, not just that. I mean, just there was girders on the ground, and I mean, it was.
I'm just saying, but they've got behind because so much rain.
Yeah. But I think it looks great. I bought a brick here, so if you're, I don't think I'll get here till July sometime. But if you see, I think it's the Glatfelters from 69 to today. We love our Padres. That's the brick that I bought. So it's out there. You can see it. But it looks great. I think.
Unfortunately, when you guys come out, there's no games that whole time.
We're trying to see if we'll just like come out for multiple weeks whenever we do come out. But anyway, I think it looks great. But what I really dig is the new Tony Gwynn Terrace, and I love this new view where you have Trevor Hoffman. It looks like Trevor Hoffman is pitching to Tony Gwynn, like they lined up the two statues.
Look at that. How did his groin stay in shape? I mean, that's a high leg kick.
I'm not sure they made the tree trunks as big as they really were either. Because
those look like my legs, chicken legs.
The other neat look that I saw through the photo was the Tony Gwynn tunnel.
Yes,
where they got the mural on there, and it was broken in. They had Alicia, his wife, and
I didn't see that.
Tony Gwynn Jr. On the other side.
Oh, you didn't see it? It's really cool. It's really cool.
It's really good. So,
the Padres are always upgrading the stadium, always making it more enjoyable for the fan, unlike another owner who didn't.
Well, in the Padre podcast, the pregame was talking about it and said that now from Gallagher Square, you can see 75. There's the photo. So
nice.
You can see 75% of the field.
Whereas really? It's raised, right? It's higher, right?
50%, but now you can see 75% of the field.
Because it's higher up, right?
I believe so. I believe that was it. Yeah.
Elevations that kind of go up.
Very cool, though. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And I love, because I think I was reading an interview with Tony Gwynn Jr. I think it was this article actually, but where the strategy behind the Tony Gwynn whatever they're calling it, Tony Gwynn Tunnel, is how do you help Padre fans that didn't grow up watching Tony Gwynn understand Tony Gwynn's impact? And so that's kind of what the tunnel represents, all of these different stats and who he is.
I'm glad they keep honoring him.
Yeah.
Because what he did for the city of San Diego, he stayed with an organization that wasn't always the best.
Yeah.
And he was you went to the games because of Tony Gwynn.
Yep.
I mean, I know when Jay, can we go see Tony? Yeah, we'll go see Tony Gwynn play.
Absolutely.
Tony Gwynn play. I mean, because that's what because the teams a lot of times were just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 50 plus years, and there's really, I know the Hall of Fame has been a talking point for me for quite a while. Truly, in my mind, the two Hall of Famers for Padres is Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I know Steve Garvey's in there. I know Dave Winfield, Randy Jones, and everything. But when you talk about a career and, what it meant to the Padres, when Dave Winfield, signed that contract with the Yankees, he became one of the most hated guys in San Diego.
Yeah,
because everybody felt like, oh, you just turn your back on your team.
Yeah.
Steve Garvey was a Dodger.
He did hit the. I mean, I'm kind of because he did hit the biggest homer in Padre history.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that. But do you put a guy in the Hall of Fame because he hit one home run, even though it was the most important home run?
I do.
Well, to me, it's like it's the Padres Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Fame. So I think there's a bit more the Padres Hall of Fame representing the history of the Padres. And
with Randy Jones, he was one of my first big Padre. I mean, I liked Johnny Grubb, Clay Kirby, Nate Colbert, Ollie Brown. But Randy Jones was that first guy, and he was the first Padre that really brought national media about the Padres, because Padres were so bad. I mean, people complain about the Padres now. They were bad. And Randy Jones he could have easily won 2 Cy Young Awards. And then he tore up his arm because he pitched, I don't know, 50 complete games, whatever it was, in 2 years, which is unheard of nowadays.
It's just, I guess the thing for me, and you go look at some other teams and their Hall of Fames and who they've got in them, and you're talking about lifetime guys, guys who've been there for a long time. Because I'll make this argument, then you tell me which way you sway on this. Why is Jake Peavy not in the Hall of Fame for the Padres?
He is. I think they inducted him last year, I think. Or is he being inducted? Yeah, he was inducted last year.
Jake Peavy should be in.
He is. He got inducted last year.
I guess I missed that then.
But but you talk about, if you're talking about the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Giants, they've all been pretty well run.
And they have a longer history, pedigree. They've won championships. So
the Padres started with a terrible owner.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're bought by Ray Kroc, because without Ray Kroc, we're not even talking about it's Padres talking.
We're talking about the Washington
Padres. Because
senators talking senators. I guess we have to be senators to do that. Sure.
Yeah. It's just that the history, the team has been, let's face it, they've been bad most of and it's because the ownership of the Padres have had, I don't know how many owners, off the top of my head, maybe 6, 7 owners.
Yeah.
Has been bad.
Yeah. But I do want to say this about the Tony Gwynn thing, especially being of the generation, or me, myself being of the generation that grew up becoming a Padre fan because of Tony Gwynn, and being, I would have been a Padre fan regardless because you were a Padre fan, but it's just like, for me, Tony Gwynn was the entry point and the reason why, you rooted for the team or whatever. And it was, and if he didn't decide to stay and didn't decide to become such an integral part to the community, I don't know if I'm still would still be a Padre fan today. And so it meant a lot. It meant a lot to, like, he's a hero to at least, my generation of
he should, and 100 years from now, he still should be honored.
It's kind of cool. I will say it's really neat how he's appreciated now, like just broadly across baseball fans and even sports fans, because there's so much of those like stats, like, just crazy Tony Gwynn stats where he had more triples than strikeouts in like 2
Or
seasons
like
straight. Like
when he talks about when they every year someone will post something about Glavine,
yeah,
Smoltz, and Maddox. They never struck out against him.
yeah.
And he hit like
and
300.
he hit like 330 against the
Yeah,
combined.
and they all talk about him. It's like, yeah, I couldn't get the guy out.
Yeah.
Could not get the guy out. He just slapped the ball with 5.5 hole.
I love watching. There's one they post a lot too of the '98 playoffs. It's Randy Johnson against Tony Gwynn.
Oh yeah.
And just Randy Johnson's throwing heat, whatever. And somehow, like, just Tony Gwynn gets on his toes and just somehow like makes contact and then gets a double, down the line. Like,
and Tony Gwynn's one of those because nowadays he probably wouldn't be as loved because it's okay to strike out, whatever. I mean, I don't get that. I don't understand. If you're striking out, you're not helping the team.
Yeah.
I don't care. Tony Gwynn, I want guys that get on base, score runs, drive in runs, steal bases, which Tony Gwynn did a lot of when he first came up. People forget he stole a lot of bases.
Yeah.
He was a part of the team where I think they were the first team to have 3 guys steal 50 bases in one season. That was Jerry Mumphrey, Tony Gwynn, Smith. And I don't think it was Ozzie Smith. I think
Gene
it was
Gene
Richards.
Yeah.
So the 3 of them stole 50 bases each.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, though, as you go back to when maybe his first 7-10 years, Tony Gwynn was probably one of the most unappreciated great baseball players there was.
Because he played in San Diego.
It took until he just kept hitting 300 that people started, because the knock on him was he doesn't hit for power. And Tony even admitted that after his famous meetings with Ted Williams at the time, and Ted told him, hey, you got to pull the ball. I mean, you're allowed to hit a home run, and he said that that changed his outlook a little bit more. So he started going with the inside pitches, but I remember having almost to defend Tony Gwynn to a couple of my friends about how great of a player he was, because the guy's hitting 330, but yet the knock on him is but he's only hitting 15 home runs, or he's only hitting 12 home runs.
But you also had guys like Jack Clark and Jim Lederitz who would bash Tony Gwynn, and I'm like going, I don't get it. I don't. So what if he's watching? Maybe you should be watching film.
Yeah.
It wasn't personal. I mean, he put up the stats, but he wanted to win.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. So anyway, that's really cool. Gentlemen, final thoughts as we try to beat Bo Mel, put him in his place, make him realize he shouldn't have stuck with us. Because I really like Shilp. I like his vibes. I like how he's running things. I know it's only 2 games, but I just feel like it was a different team against those Dodgers.
Bob Melvin obviously didn't want to be here.
No.
Last season. I mean, you could tell it was body language. You could tell. I mean, like you said, he lost the clubhouse. I think he was frustrated with, I'm assuming, with Soto and everything that was going on. I mean, Fernando, I don't think, how could you be frustrated with Tatis? He went to the outfield.
Yeah.
He got the cert. He did everything he's supposed to do. So, and Manny is Manny. So I think just Melvin, he probably didn't like working with Preller. But all the bashing of Preller, he's loaded up the farm system again.
Yeah.
And in a short time.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if the Preller, and I'm reaching here because obviously, again, we're not in the clubhouse, we're not in the back office meetings, but with what happened with Melvin, you kind of get the ideal of the Moneyball with Billy Beane and Art Howe, and how you didn't see that, I'm sure, if you were an Oakland fan at the time.
Yeah.
But how they just were just oil and water,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Moneyball's such a great movie too. I know it's dramatized, but
they did.
That's my twin.
That doesn't make them bad manager or bad GM. It's just sometimes you just get a mix where it's like, we just got a lot of differences of opinions.
Yeah.
Looking to this series though, and I will say, even from the first 2 games, I'm a little surprised at the lineup, and I'm not saying it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, in my heart of hearts, I thought for sure the one thing that I knew was going to happen was that Fernando Tatis Jr. was going to lead off.
Yeah.
I like
him in leadoff too.
I'm just shocked because
I like him in lead
Fernando
off.
even said, I thought we were going to, that he was going to lead off. I mean, he was talking about it before spring training,
Be honest
looking
with you,
forward to
I
leading
would.
off. Yeah.
My lineup would be Kim first, Tatis second.
Yeah, I like Tatis first because he's a table setter. Like he just brings.
But
I like the Kim five.
I want speed at the top of the lineup. But the problem is with Bogaerts, he's already moved to second base, and he's openly said, "I don't like batting second."
Yeah,
he said it. I don't like batting second. So
then bat fourth. I don't know. Bat fifth.
But for some, Bogaerts hits pretty well hitting first.
He does. I mean, actually, all of them do.
It's not that it's wrong. That's the shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a comment here, Jay.
Let me plus this in here.
I agree. I agree totally with what this person said.
Well, let me I'll read it off here. Oz says that cleanse AJ talked about work. It took away the bad energy. Bo, Mel, Soto, and Hader. I agree. I think there's something to it.
And to be fair to Bo Mel, when you have a guy like Hader who won't come in the game.
Oh, he was irritated. Yeah, he was irritated.
I mean, I personally, I probably would have came to blows with him if I'm the manager. I'm like, dude, you're killing us by not come in and pitch.
Yeah. We would have made the playoffs if Hader wasn't.
Yeah, and Hader decided no.
I'm
waiting for the big contract again. I think you said it, Jay. Love what he did in 2022.
Yeah.
It was we may make the playoffs because of it.
Takes me off the most about it is he was struggling and he kind of came in damaged goods, and we the team, the coaching staff, Ruben Nebla worked his magic and got him right again.
Yeah.
And so without the Padres, he would not have gotten right again. And he couldn't pitch 4 to 4 batters across 2 innings. Like you couldn't pitch like a 4-out close. Like to me, it was just it was everything that was wrong of last season was Hader's baloney.
And again, if you don't think that hurt the clubhouse, I mean, we've all played sports. If I got a guy that's not I'm not even professional.
It's Roger Dorn from.
Exactly. If I got someone who wait, I'm busting my ass, my butt, and you're not doing anything.
Yeah,
you're gonna irritate me.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about the players a lot, but my opinion is Nebla is invaluable.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm still. I
don't to be a Padre for life.
I don't blame them, but I really hated that. I feel like Nebla righted the careers of Lugo and Waka.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
and then they walked, and I just wanted them back so bad, and I'm not, because to me they're not your superstars.
Yeah,
but those two guys were two of the best 4 or 5 pitchers you could ask.
Yeah, the pitching was not a problem last season.
So
they were part of the main reason why we had stability. I mean, Musgrove was kind of hurt, Darvish was kind of hurt. They were great.
Well, I mean, the Padres had the number 1, number 1 or number 2 pitching staff in baseball.
Yeah.
So, what do you hope for? Well, you hope he can do that with King. You hope he can do that with Brito.
Yeah.
You hope that he can even help a guy like Cease, who's struggling with his control. And last year, they were showing that on MLB.
Yeah.
That they put side by side Snell and Cease, and man, they are remarkable. The last 3 years,
he's a right-handed Snell. Yeah.
Yeah, they are remarkably close.
Get used to those walks.
Yeah. So if what I saw in the couple of times I saw Cease pitch, he looks like he's got some pretty good stuff. I like the fact that he can throw hard. He does mix in his good breaking balls. I'm actually more concerned about Musgrove and Darvish just coming back and being who we think they are.
Yeah.
Darvish ain't getting any younger. Musgrove should be in the prime, but let's hope that they bring some semblance of stability to the pitching staff.
Yeah. Agreed.
But they said Darvish was throwing harder this year than he was last season.
Yeah. Darvish is probably one problem is that he'll tunnel a fastball every once in a while.
Yeah, he will.
Yes,
he will.
He doesn't have the 98
pitches
to get by.
Yeah, exactly. Well, gentlemen, I think that is where we'll end things tonight on
Thanks, Oz, for all the comments.
Yeah, thanks to Oz in the chat. It says, love the show, guys. I'll make sure to turn on my notification when you guys go live. Exactly. So if you enjoy this show, hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any Padres Talking Padres. I think we're kind of locked into this Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific.
We might go every night.
No, we're not going every night. Don't have that kind of time. But we'll see how things play out. Hopefully we beat up on Bo Mel's team. And go Aztecs. Come on. Let's knock off another number one. Let's beat them.
It's time we beat UConn.
It's time. It's our time. It's 2011 redo. But this time we're going to beat them. It's the reverse whatever. Anywho, until next time, hasta luego. And goodbye. Have a great night.
Go Pods.
Peace out. Arrivederci.